It's day 2 of the climate change protests, and so far more than 500 people have been arrested. Police now say any protesters taking any sort of action anywhere other than Trafalgar Square are at risk of arrest. Meanwhile, a row has broken out between the mayor and one of his main rivals over his handling of Extinction Rebellion. Caroline Davis has more.
Day 2 still out on the streets, but today the police tactics were different. Last night they were able to clear Westminster and Lambeth bridges, but with many areas still occupied, the police imposed conditions, meaning that anyone from Extinction Rebellion protesting anywhere other than Trafalgar Square was committing an offence and in danger of being arrested. But some protesters have said that removing the groups won't be the end of the disruption.
It's in the police's interest to let us take these sites. They know what we're doing, they know where we are in these sites. But if we can't hold them, then we will disperse and will become a lot more difficult to police.
Moving protesters from Westminster is becoming increasingly urgent. Next week is the state opening of Parliament, and security arrangements need to be put in place soon. But Extinction Rebellion's tactics have slowed the police down, chaining or gluing themselves in position. And the number of protesters also makes it a challenge for the Met Police. This is the Met Police's command and control room. From here, they're creating a strategy on how to deal with a protest group unlike any other. So far, they've arrested over 500 people.
Our preference would be not to have to arrest people. It's very time consuming. We have to take people to custody. We have to go through the custody process, and that takes up a lot of time and a lot of effort from police officers. And of course, this isn't the only thing we're policing in London. We have to continue policing the rest of London.
The police say that although the protests will have an impact on their duties, they will cope. But the Conservative candidate for mayor has said he's worried.
I have to ask the question, where is the mayor? You cannot seal off London like this for 2 weeks. I've just come from a community where there's been a stabbing. We've also had an acid attack in the last 24 hours. The police are distracted doing this when they should be doing that to keep us safe. That's what I want to focus on. How are we going to keep London safe while this is happening?
I don't take seriously anything this guy says. I mean, frankly speaking, I spend a lot of time speaking to Londoners, including those protesting, including businesses that are suffering, but including the police. I've just been speaking to the commissioners. Look, I really don't need lecturers from a Conservative about the need to address the climate emergency or about the need for us to have the resources in our police service.
The police have said they're working to prevent Extinction Rebellion causing disruption for all of the 2 weeks, but can't guarantee it. This afternoon, their ranks have been boosted, with more officers coming in from outside London as the operation continues. Caroline Davis, BBC London.
OK, let's get the latest from Aisha Baksh, who's at one of the protest camps in central London. Aisha.
Well, Riz, I'm here in the middle of Trafalgar Square, which has definitely become a focal point for the protest. People have been coming and going all day. There have been impromptu concerts, talks and speeches given. It's a fairly good-natured atmosphere, as you can probably see, if not a little chaotic. But this is, let's not forget, very much a central part of the London traffic system. And many major roads are cut off leading up to Westminster, Whitehall, the West End and Soho. This is one of 11 sites that Extinction Rebellion have across London, outside government departments, in London parks. My colleague Gareth Furby spent the night with protesters over at Smithfield Meat Market, who say they are conducting an animal rebellion.
Smithfield Market has been selling meat since the Middle Ages. But this was a new chapter in that long history. The police here in some numbers, but content to keep watch as protesters set up camp in its central arch. Among them, Terry, a salesman from Brixton, who only stopped eating meat this year.
It was probably a beef burger in McDonald's. Do you miss it? I do not miss it at all, honestly. Do you know why? Every time I see or think about a piece of meat now, I see animal carcasses, I see death, I see torture, and that is why I'm here today, and I think that's why we're all here, you know.
Joining him, identical twins Katerina and Maria.
It's all about the carrots.
All about the carrots. Only 2 types of people in this century, and it's people who are on vegan diet, and then it's people who are transitioning.
But the people trying to do business overnight despite the disruption might not agree. Dave has worked at Smithfield for 58 years.
They've got all vegetables out there, and I'm not going to bloody eat vegetables, I tell you that now.
He says this episode may have hit his sales.
How many lamb are you selling tonight?
I've got about 600 coming tonight, that's all. So we've cut back a bit. So normally it's 800 to 1,000. It has disrupted the whole meat trade. And it's going to disrupt everywhere, the catering, all the butcher shops. They're not going to be able to get their meat. Let's hope it don't carry on too long.
At one point, the protesters held what they called a funeral procession for the dead animals. This woman said she found it all so distressing, she blindfolded herself.
I can't bear to witness it, so I can't bear to see it, but these are the animals' witnesses. They are witnessing the atrocity that is going on in there.
It sort of reminds me a bit of a church procession.
That's kind of the aim, yeah.
Freedom of speech, isn't it? Freedom of speech. Everybody's got their own opinion, haven't they?
After the procession, most of the protesters took to their tents and sleeping bags. The work continued, but it wasn't busy.
Because no one's come up the market today.
No one's going through, are they?
What would this normally be like?
Busy. They've all vanned through it.
The organisers say this was just a one-night event. Many traders may be hoping it never happens again. Gareth Furby, BBC London News.
Well, while we've been on air, many more people have been arriving here at Trafalgar Square. That appears to be because the police are breaking up other sites and trying to contain everybody here. Many bemused tourists are looking on and some frustrated commuters trying to get home. But XR, Extinction Rebellion, say that they have a lot of public support and their numbers are growing. They say they will be here for the next 2 weeks. Last time, let's not forget, they got the ear of politicians. They met with Sadiq Khan and they met with the then Environment Secretary Michael Gove. Whether that will happen again, we don't know. The government say they are doing their best within a growing economy and they are committed to a zero emissions target by 2050. But for the people here tonight and across these sites, that's simply not enough.
OK, with the latest there, Aisha, thank you.